My name is John Ferrero, and I'm going to be presenting our customer success best practices with Device42 tagging today. I also wanted to point out that, as usual, I have a few moderators here who will be helping to assist in answering any questions. Those two members are two members of our customer success team, Mr. Daniel Holroyd and Stan Tasinski. We'll leave plenty of room at the end of this small presentation for any questions you may have. So the format will be as follows. I'm going to present a few slides that basically go over what tags are. I'm going to do a small demonstration on applying tags. And then, as mentioned before, once it is done, we're going to leave plenty of time to answer any questions. And if by any chance we don't get to answer all of your questions, I'll personally reach out with any answers to any questions that you may have had. Perfect. Alrighty, so what are tags? Tags are basically, whoops. Sorry about that. All right, so tags are an identifier that can be used on most objects to group or identify certain objects. Tags can help with filtering objects and also grouping disparate objects, and you can basically filter out through either classic reports or through advanced reports and filter out on any item or any object that may have any specific tag included. Perfect. Next, we're going to go into managing tags, how we can create tags. And it's also important to note that with tags, it's just going to really help you as far as like disparate objects. If you had, say, Project X running and you wanted to know every single object that was associated with Project X, you can apply a specific tag to it. So say you called the tag Project X and you wanted to know what building was associated with this special project, what computers, what servers were associated with it, what assets such as keyboards, monitors, what racks, what rooms, what customers, anything that would be associated with that, you could basically apply that same tag to, and then filter out through those tags so you can get a list of everything that you needed for that particular Project X. Sweet. So I am going to share out my own personal Device42 instance, and we're going to go over basically adding tags and different ways of adding those tags. Alrighty? And then we'll jump into questions. So the first place that we're going to go to either create a tag or basically to see anything that would be associated with that tag is going to be the infrastructure, organization, and then tags button. And as you can see, I've created a few tags here. Pretty simple to create a tag. Just click on the add tag button, name it something that's going to identify what you want to group together or what you want that tag to be. So for instance, I'm just going to call this webinar 1 and then save it. Notice on these other tags here that I have, my Manhattan tag, it's going to give me a list of any asset, being my video monitor, and my keyboard, and my device ending in .181. Those are going to be the objects that are going to be associated with this specific tag over there. Perfect. Another way to add a tag is going to be basically by the object itself. So if I wanted to go to my devices here and click on a specific object that I have here, and then I'm going to edit it, and I can apply the tags in this particular field as well. Go down to tags. I'm going to call it my webinar 1. And I'm going to save it. Now you can have as many tags as you wanted to, or on that object. So if I wanted a webinar 1 tag there, and I also wanted that PC to be part of, say, another project, and I could call that Project X, I can also apply those tags onto that as well. Another way to add tags is going to be in bulk. So I can add a few tags or a tag to any one of these devices or as many devices as I want to on this page alone. So let's say all of my work group servers here, I want to add a tag to. Just select the action, add tags, drop the hammer, and let's say I want the webinar 1 tag applied on those as well. Perfect. And we'll jump into another way to add tags as well. So discovery or through auto discovery, you can also add tags. So if you wanted to add a tag, say to an Nmap job or to a TCP port scan, you could definitely do so. For right now, I'm going to add it to one of my hypervisor Nix Windows jobs here. I've already created a job here, and I've actually deleted my server or my desktop that is .122. Let's go down here. Perfect. And then let's add here. So upon anything or upon this server, once it's discovered, it's going to automatically apply that tag. If you're going to use a subnet or CIDR range, it would apply anything that it would find within that actual CIDR range. I don't have many desktops here on this IP scheme, so I'm just going to go with this desktop here. I'm going to save that, and we're going to run that job, and it should pick up my desktop in a few minutes. And when I click on the object for that desktop, it is going to also show me the tag for webinar 1. Perfect. The other one that I'm going to show you basically is going to be adding tags via the imports and exports. So basically I can go to our image or our imports and exports page. Let's say I wanted to do that for one of my devices or a bunch of devices on there. I can definitely do so. So I'd go to my devices, create update devices v2. I'm just going to download my current data and open that, and just basically let's add another column here for tags, and let's go to this one. I'm going to add that to my .181 and .218. And it added the project tag for the .81, and let's take a look at my .218 over here as well. And it added that tag onto there as well. Perfect. Another way that we can add tags, I'm not going to demonstrate that because that may take a little bit too long, a little bit more time than we have here, but you could do so straight through our API as well. You can go to our GitHub page and look at different calls, puts, posts that you could do for our API, and definitely do that in bulk or just by device or by ACID if you wanted to add a tag onto that. Perfect. So now let's filter out certain objects that we have a tag for. Again, if I go back down to my infrastructure and then tags page, I can take a look at my webinar. And now I can see that I have a few other devices on here that have that webinar tag on it. This one over here, we added it manually to the device object page or the device details page. These 4 over here, we did so through bulk. This right here would be the auto discovery job I created. And this is the actual object that was discovered through that auto discovery, Windows auto discovery job here. And here is the tags here. So let's go to my resources and my all assets here, and just going to show you a quick way so you can find out any asset that may be associated with that particular tag. So part of the feature or the filter options here, we can actually filter by any tags that would have been created. Looks like I have a few that were associated with Manhattan, but let's associate a few more with that webinar one that I had created. Perfect. So now we're filtering out, and we could see that one of my LG monitors, a KVM, 2 patch panels, another monitor that I have, and a type inventory device that I created is actually part of my webinar 1 tag. We could do the same thing for devices as well. Tagging is a little bit different on the devices page, but same concept. And I can see that these are the 3 devices, or the, sorry, 6 devices. And before, through the infrastructure and tags button, we could see that I had the 4 work group devices, my desktop that came through the auto discovery we just created, and the 1 device that I manually entered in there. You can also see my anything that may have the project, which was that 181, and my 218. As well. Perfect. And let's see what else we could do here as far as with tags here. So another thing that we could do with tags and filtering out those objects is you can, again, filter out any objects that have a tag applied through the API. You can create a classic report. You can create an advanced report. And we're going to go more into that in probably one of our future webinars where we teach you how to create either advanced reports or how to use the classic reports functionality. And then another way that we can actually filter out through that would be to use our DOCL language to basically create a DOCL to pull out either any buildings, any devices, anything, any assets or anything that would be associated with that tag as well. Again, this is going to be a great way for you to be able to create a project and have everything that would be associated with that project. Doesn't really matter what it is. You can have customers on there. You can have any servers. You can have buildings, rooms, racks, specific racks that you may use for that specific project. You can have different service levels on there. So possibility with tags is going to be endless. And with that being said, that pretty much wraps up our tag demonstration here. So I will open the floor up to any other questions. It looks like we do have a few questions here. So Ryan, I'll answer a few of your questions here, at least the ones that I can. As far as question 1, I'll read that out. I know we can import tags with vSphere as custom fields. Are there any future plans to allow those vSphere tags to be imported as tags? That's an excellent idea. I'm not 100% sure offhand, but I will research that a little bit for you, and I will get back to you, Ryan, to see if we have any, I guess, development tickets or anything in RQ to do what you're asking. Question number 2, is there any way of setting up an intelligent rule that tags based on naming convention? Server names contain SQL or DBO to have tag database on there. There really isn't anything as far as intelligent wise to do so. It's pretty much just applying the tag on there. If you do make a typo though for your question 3, that's definitely something that you can merge together straight through there. Perfect. So it's basically going to, like, I guess that's a pretty good example for your number 3. I had one that was called Project and one that's called Project X. I was able to merge the 2 of them together. Anything that would fall into Project is going to be represented under Project X. It is going to pick the first tag that you created to be the master. And again, Ryan, I'll get back to you on that question about the vSphere tags or the VMware tags, the SXI tags on there to see if there's anything in the works to have those imported as tags rather than custom fields. Anybody else have any ongoing questions or any issues that you've seen arise through tags? Good. I'm glad that was a little bit informative for you, Ryan. Definitely something you can do, at least in the devices spreadsheet there. Definitely a really easy way. Just type in that tags and then apply the same tag or as many tags as you want to any of the devices that would be on that list. So there's going to be a few ways to bulk clean those tags. You could do so. Probably the most efficient way would be to do so through the API. That is probably going to be the most efficient way. And again, we can continue this at a later date if you want a small demonstration on basically cleaning up those tags. Another thing that you could do on there is going to be just going through the infrastructure on there. Say you created a tag that you no longer want to use. You could just delete the tag and it's going to basically remove itself from any association or any object that it was attached to. Awesome. So yeah, if you wanted to basically rename a tag here, you could definitely just go to the tag section itself. Whenever you create a tag anywhere, whether that's in an auto discovery job or in a bulk manner, you're going to be able to see that tag over here. So I want to change that to Manhattan Project, and then save that. And now any one of those devices or assets that I had on there that was associated with the Just Manhattan tag would now have a tag that is called Manhattan Project. Sweet, looks like Stan has that. Again, if feel free to ask as many questions as you want. If we don't get to answer all of your questions here during the webinar, personally reach out to you guys and try to get those questions answered for you. Yeah, so Caitlin. So basically reports can be generated by a specific tag. The best way is going to be through doing an advanced report. During the advanced report, you can add the tags function to it. And from there, you can basically filter out by what tag specifically you wanted to add on there. So another way that you could do it as well is you could just throw the tags function on there in an advanced report. And then once that Excel sheet comes out, you can just throw a filter under tags and basically click the tags that you wanted to see. Another way would be to basically create a DOCL, throw the DOCL into tools in your saved DOCLs, run it through there, and that'll automatically give you an Excel or CSV spreadsheet on there in the Excel or in the DOCL itself. You could probably use a where statement or something to basically filter out for the exact tag that you were looking for. And again, Caitlin, if you would like, we can reach out to you or you can reach out to us either way, and be more than happy to, have a quick working section. And on that working session, go over that, maybe write a few docals, work over the advanced reporting as well, if you're not 100% familiar with that. Awesome. So yeah, definitely, Caitlin. I will reach out to you after the webinar is over, so we can schedule something and we'll go over that and basically any other questions that you may have. Awesome. So we have about 2 minutes left in the webinar. So if you have any other questions, keep them pouring in. Excuse me. Cool. Yep. I'm glad that it was good session for you, John. Definitely. Any type of value that we can add, our team is fully up for it. Email. Awesome. And we'll give Stan just another minute or so to fully answer that question before we go. So perfect. Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining our second webinar, and look forward to our next webinar, which I believe will be on November 30th.